Hello, it's Malcolm here, and in this video I'm going to show you a session using Sage via the Sage Math Cell. So I have navigated to the Sage Math Cell page, and as you can see, all you get is a blank input cell and a blank output cell. So you have to know what to type in order to use the Sage Math Cell. So fortunately it's not too difficult. So here we go. So to use Sage as a calculator, let me just enlarge this a little bit. To use Sage as a calculator, just type in as you would. So 2 minus 3 plus 6 divided by 8 multiplied by 5. So it knows the 4 arithmetic operations and it knows the order of operations, so it'll do the division and the multiplication before it does the addition and the subtraction. And then just click evaluate, and your answer here appears in the output cell, 11 on 4. We can make the answer look a little prettier if we type show. And I don't have to press evaluate, I can just press shift enter, and that's the same as evaluating. And there's my output in the output cell, 11 on 4. Now, one of the advantages of using a computer algebra system is that you can do things like, instead of having that calculation each time, I can label that calculation. So I can go, A is equal to that. Now, if I hit shift enter, I get nothing in the output cell because all I have asked Sage to do is to assign that calculation to A. So to actually see the calculation, I have to go A. And there's my answer, 11 on 4. If I had wanted a numerical approximation instead of the exact answer there, all I have to do is make one of the inputs a decimal, so 2.0. And if I do that, then there it is, 2.75. Another way of doing the same thing is to use one of Sage's many functions. And again, you'll have to look these up and probably keep a little cheat sheet of your own functions that you find useful. But one of the functions is the n function. So I go n a, and I might make life a bit prettier. I'll go show n a, and when I do that, there it is, 2.75. So it gives me a numerical approximation. And Sage knows lots of other functions, and you'll get to know them after a while as you need them. So for example, on your calculator you might see a log function, and here it is. Just type log 11 on 4. Now that's exact. If I'd wanted the numerical approximation of that, I go in log a, and there's my answer. The log function, I know the exponential function, one of the trig functions, let's choose the sine function, and so on. So it knows all the functions that you would care to think about. It knows functions from a wide area of mathematics. So as you learn some new mathematics, if you look in Sage, there's probably some functions that help you do those sort of calculations. Now Sage has an interesting thing in that it has a lot of functions, but a lot of them you can also do via what are called methods. So let's go back here and get rid of the n function, and with a method you go a dot n, and I think I've got a few too many brackets there, so there we go. So that's the same, it's the numerical approximation. So take a and apply the numerical approximation method to it. And when you do that, you get 2.75 as before. So for many things in Sage, you can do them quite often either via function or via a method. And in fact, Sage has a lot more methods than it does functions. So it's just a matter of finding out which is which. But again, you'll learn that as you go along and use Sage with your mathematics. Now, with the method here, it's got parentheses, and inside there sometimes there are parameters that you can put in. So for example here, if I put in digits equal to 5, then it'll restrict the output to 5 digits. Let's do something a little bit with some more decimal places. So for example, one of the advantages here of labeling something is that I can use that label in other calculations. So in here I might go show a plus, let's put in pi. Sage knows nearly all the mathematical constants, and here I just had to type in the name. So it's just a matter of looking up the name of the constant. So here we go, show a plus 5. Now let me do it first of all with no numerical approximation. And as you can see, there it is, there's a plus pi. Now let's find a numerical approximation to that. There it is, and it's to lots of decimal places. I can now restrict the number of decimal places. I'll say, here, go show me 5 digits. And there it is. And if I wanted to, I could even show lots of digits. So there's 50 digits. And as you can see, that's fairly impressive. The other good thing about having labels, in here let's just change our calculation, because I've shown you plus, minus, multiplication and division. Let's now do a square root. So square root of 3. And you can see if I put semicolon, that saves me typing a new line. So I can actually type 2 things on the one line there. So I'll assign, say, the square root of 6 to b. And then down here I can go show me a plus b. And again, I'll take away those things there. And there we go. Again, it tries to give me the exact answer, square root of 3 plus the square root of 6. And I can simplify that just by going, show me a numerical approximation. There it is. And I guess the other thing I need to show you is that we can do the squaring. So there's a plus b squared. And again, let's go at exact. And it says, look, that's as good as I can do. Let me put all of that into brackets and then find the numerical approximation of it. There it is, 17.48. Now, interestingly, one of the methods that Sage has is the expand method. So what's the square root of 3 plus the square root of 6 all squared? There it is, squared out for you and left as an exact answer. If I wanted to, I could find a numerical approximation of that. And as you can see, that's all very, very clever. Now, Sage has lots of other methods, and as I said, let me just show you a few that you might be able to use straight away. Just say I had a is equal to 60 in here, so if I just go all the way back and just go show a, so there we go, that's not very interesting, but one of the methods is show me the divisors, oops, divisors of, can't spell, of 60. Now, this is a good one. So you can see here, here's an error that we've got. And this is another weakness of Sage MathScell, is that this error doesn't really help you that much. Although it says down here, object has no attribute divisor. So what that means is I've typed in the wrong command here. And what I should have typed in is divisors. And so when I do that, there's my answer. They're all the divisors of 60, and the output is in a list. So a list is a sequence of numbers here in square brackets. So that's one of the methods. Another method might be factor A. So factorize A, and there's A expressed as a product of prime numbers, 2 squared times 3 times 5, and so on. There are so many more methods and functions that you can use, and there's lots of other things that Sage can do, but that's probably a good introduction. So I will leave it there. Bye.